Good day to everyone. My name is Sam and I am part of the AKYAS sanitation team, and we are grateful to have an opportunity to share with you our innovative wash system for fecal sludge management. As many of you are aware, the current practice in non-sewered sanitation communities is to use pit latrines to store fecal sludge. In ideal circumstances, these pit latrines are then periodically emptied and the contents are transported to a central fecal sludge treatment plant for treatment. While only the solid waste initially contains pathogens and free radicals, after mixing in the latrine, the entire volume of liquid is contaminated, despite solid waste only comprising 3% of the total contents. If emptying does not happen frequently enough, the toxic mixture will leak through the walls of the latrine and contaminate the environment. Our solution is to separate the liquid from the solid waste in the beginning. Separating liquid waste from solid waste is not a new concept. However, previous front-end applications have not been successful due to user reticence. Initially, a urine diversion dry toilet was developed to achieve this separation through the toilet interface. However, this design failed as it required a behavioral change from the users by shifting back and forth across the pan. AKYAS then developed a liquid diversion pan that does not require a behavior change for the separation, as you can see in the middle picture. Yet the system failed as the users did not accept the interface. It just looks different from the current pans. This learning has paved the way for the development of the AKYAS Effluent Diversion Unit, or EDU. The EDU is a back-end system which is installed after a normal pan. With the EDU, we managed to overcome user hesitation, and the system caters to both washer and wiper populations. The EDU is designed to be easily installed on any foreign sewer pipe at the latrine discharge point. It is located in the pit latrine, and it has two outlets. Solid waste enters the pit latrine and liquid waste is sent to the discharge area, which is usually some type of wetland or high absorption soil. If you are installing only the EDU, the installation would take only 5 minutes. But if you are installing an additional effluent treatment unit, the installation will take more time. The advantages of the EDU are that 1, the solid pit fills slowly, allowing for less frequent emptying, and 2, that the liquid has a less organic load than the treatment plant's design requirements. Here we show the two advantages in more detail. As you can see, at high separation efficiencies, the filling rate of the pit is dramatically lower using the EDU, something between 10 to 20 times slower at our current operating efficiencies. Instead of emptying the latrine every few weeks, the latrine only needs to be emptied twice a year. Additionally, the solid waste in the latrine is also drier, which means a lower risk of leakage into the environment, as well as allowing the potential use of on-site decomposition treatments, such as tiger worms or dry beds. In parallel, since the effluent will have a lower oxygen demand, the ratio of the inlet BOD to the target BOD for discharge will be lower. Since this ratio is lower, the required residence time and thus volume of the anaerobic system can be reduced. The reduction in size and the use of low-cost materials allows the effluent treatment system to be placed on-site instead of in a centralized facility. In order to design the effluent treatment system, we first needed to determine the composition of the effluent leaving the EDU. We found that while the BOD was much lower than normal black water, the bacterial contamination was higher than would be considered safe. As a result, we determined that the most prudent design would be to use a small on-site anaerobic reactor to reduce the oxygen demand, combined with a slow sand filter to remove the pathogens. The reactor was designed as a baffled reactor, or ABR, to attempt to speed up the oxidation process, and the sand filter was designed to surround the ABR in the treatment pit in order to save space. In our current pilot systems, we are collecting more data points regarding COD, BOD, and total solids, so as to develop a more robust understanding of how different environmental factors affect system performance. Once we determined the appropriate effluent treatment, we were ready to begin installing pilot systems. Currently, we have installed more than a dozen of these units in Jordan and Bangladesh, and we want to share with you our learnings. One system combination is in Cox's Bazar, serving 5 to 6 users per day. Cox's Bazar poses certain challenges, such as a high underground water table with periodic flooding, as well as watery stool being very common, with a Bristol stool scale of 5 to 7. We designed our system using 2 pits. In Pit 1, we installed the EDU and put 10 centimeters of gravel at the bottom, as well as a colony of redworms in order to provide on-site decomposition of the fecal waste. In Pit 2, we installed the anaerobic reactor and the biosand filter. The design also allowed for multiple sampling points to determine the performance of the different system components. After the EDU was installed, we noticed a few limitations. One is that our EDU works best in high flush regimes, as well as during trickle flow, but not as well in intermediate flow. As such, the slope of the pipe from the toilet should be between 3 and 5% to ensure adequate flow during the flush phase to obtain good separation. Secondly, given that the EDU is a liquid-solid separator, diarrhea poses significant challenges. In Bangladesh, the stool is often watery, which reduces the separation efficiency of the EDU. Our method of resolving this issue was to introduce a filter inside the EDU. Relatedly, the pit should be a minimum distance from the toilet so as to avoid breakup of more solid stools. Finally, as shown in the accompanying chart, at high separation efficiencies, the solid composition in the latrine can vary greatly based on small variations in EDU performance. For managed settings which use motorized pump-outs, the latrine contents must have a minimum liquidity in order to flow up the pipe. Regarding the effluent treatment system, the main advantage is that it is both affordable and locally made with commonly available materials. An additional advantage in some settings is that it contains no metal or concrete, which can be restricted by authorities for security reasons. However, in order to show results from our system, we have to wait until it reaches steady-state conditions. As we just installed these systems recently, we will not have data on their performance for several months. Our purpose at this conference is to ask for your expertise and resources in helping us improve the robustness of our revolutionary system. As the accompanying matrix shows, there are many possible combinations of solid and liquid treatment systems, but we have only implemented some of them. We are asking for research assistance in studying the effective differences between them. Additionally, we are seeking support from greywater design experts to help us develop more robust effluent treatment systems to fit the particular needs of the communities that we serve. Finally, we view the EDU as a product for everyone, and so we are asking for resources in order to implement the system in various environmental and social settings, such as cold climates, deserts, densely populated areas, and security-restricted camps, to validate the universality of the AKYAS system. Please send any expressions of interest to info@akyas-sanitation.com. We wish to thank you for your time, and we hope to hear from you soon.